This will be the second video in a series all about my experience as a YouTuber. Now, a lot of this is going to focus around a lot of general YouTube advice that's out there and how I've applied it or whether or not it's worked for me. But also, this is not my first YouTube channel. I've been on YouTube for over a decade. Even with that experience though, and even with some of the YouTube knowledge that I do have, I'm having a really hard time troubleshooting some issues I'm having with my channel. So I figured it was time to do a channel audit. So a channel audit is a harsh and critical look at every aspect of your YouTube channel to figure out what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, whether or not it's going to suit an audience. If you are serious about being a YouTuber, whether you're trying to monetize a channel or promote a business, or you just enjoy making videos, whatever the case may be, a channel audit is a really great way to get you where you want to be as a YouTuber. So learning how to do it yourself can be invaluable. Now, I have already gone through my channel. I've gone through every aspect that I'm going to talk about in this video, and I will put some screenshots on the screen so you can follow along to what I'm talking about. So first up is channel banner and channel name. So my channel name, I Want to Save Money, is something I think I'm going to stick with because it's clear and to the point. Like when people just put like their first and last name, whether it's their real name or not, it's just, you don't know by the channel name what it's about. You have to investigate a little bit. And I kind of wanted people to know exactly what my channel was about anytime they saw my channel name. So that's how I selected that. I knew I wanted it to be about budgeting and finance. So it really came down to, well, what do I want the most out of that? And it came down to, I want to save money. I am not against changing the channel name or doing some type of rebrand at some point, but it would take a lot for me to go there. The channel banner I really do like. I don't think it's worth changing unless I do a rebrand. This I would be willing to change. I think it would be a cool idea to maybe put some more information on the channel banner. So for a lot of channel banners, people might put like 3 or 4 words on there that are basically the gist or the couple of categories that their content is about. So something like that would be something I would do if I was going to change the channel banner. So I'm not sure if I'll change it or not. For now, I'm going to leave it as is, but that's something to just make note of for the future. Because I'm starting on my channel page, but obviously my channel page is not usually what's going to introduce people to me. Next up is a channel trailer. I do not have a channel trailer up, but I do think it's a good tool to use. So at some point I would like to make one. It's just a great way to introduce your channel to anyone who stops by your page. Next, take a look at the overall view of your channel page. Is it organized? Is it easy for people to get to what they want? In my case, I could use a few more playlists and possibly a few more sections. Because if you want people who enjoy your content to watch a lot of it, the biggest thing you can do for yourself is making it bingeable content. So playlists are a great way to make your content more bingeable, but it's also a way to make your content more organized. So people can go to your page and easily find what it is they're looking for. Also, if I go to your channel page and I just look through your playlists and your sections, that tells me quite a lot about what type of content you're making. Next up is thumbnails. I have a pretty set aesthetic to the thumbnails that I like to use for this channel. I do intend to continue that. That being said, I do think I could fine-tune some of the content. Basically, all of my thumbnails are a selfie. I apply some type of filter to every single picture, giving it either an orangish or a blue tint. Sometimes I will change the saturation so that the image is a little bit darker, especially on the sides. I really like the way that looks. If there's wording on screen, I'll usually put it either here or like right here. And then if there's an image or graphic that I think makes sense, I'll sometimes put it, in a corner or off to the side a little bit. And that's about it. I think that the effects and filters I'm putting on my photos now for my thumbnails is perfectly fine. I kind of want to keep up that aesthetic, but what I want to do is make the images a little bit more interesting. Some of those videos, the focal point can be an object. For example, when I do a paycheck budget, that overhead shot of the notebook on the desk, that could be the focal point. Or maybe I put the camera across the room and I take a picture of myself writing out my budget. Or maybe just some more lifestyle shots or something. Like I think that's the biggest thing I can do to improve my thumbnails. The only other thing I could do that I can think of right now would be to highlight the text on screen a little bit better. I've played around with that a little bit and just didn't really like how it looked, but maybe that's something I need to revisit to make the words on screen pop a little bit more. So I think my basic routine for creating a thumbnail is perfectly fine, but I need to get a little bit more creative with the content of the thumbnail. The next thing is titles, and this one I struggle with too. If I'm being fully transparent, I've kind of been going to ChatGPT for some ideas in this area. I've really been trying to look at other successful videos to see what works for titles, because this is an area where I kind of struggle, because I'm a more straightforward person. Like, I hate it when I'm watching these YouTube growth videos that are telling you what you have to do for your title and what you have to do for your thumbnail, and every piece of advice that they're giving is something that just doesn't apply to me as a viewer, because when I consume content, I really like a title that's as straightforward as possible. I don't care if it says amazing in all caps. I don't care if there's a little section in parentheses after that's meant to grab your attention. You know what I mean? And you have to kind of have this, I don't get that stuff. Even my budget with me videos, I feel like budget with me for, September 15th or whatever should be a perfectly acceptable YouTube video title. And I'm not saying that with budgeting videos that doesn't work. Once you start to gain an audience, yes, that can definitely help. But the titles that do the best have a little bit more information than that. There might be a letter that's in all caps. There might be a dollar amount that person saved or that person overspent, or there's just more information. And for me, it's like there's just something that's meant to grab the viewer's attention or give them more information about the video. So while my titles are perfectly fine for me, they might not be doing a great job of getting me in front of the audience that I want to be in front of. So I will definitely be going through and updating some titles and being more thoughtful of what my titles are for my upcoming videos. Next up is descriptions. How do I say this? My descriptions suck. So it's usually 1 or 2 sentences, and then I'll just sign Miss Amelia J, and then I'll just move on about my business, because what else do you need to know? And the thing is, what you put in a description is not just about what you're telling the audience. What you're putting in the description is about what you're telling YouTube, especially if you have a problem with getting your videos in front of the people you want them to be in front of. So for example, the biggest issue I have in my analytics right now is that my videos are being suggested under videos that are not in any way related to my niche. I find that really frustrating, but fixing things like my descriptions are one of the things I can do to resolve that issue. So while you should absolutely include information in your description that is in any way relevant to your audience, you also have to think about YouTube reading that information and using it to decide who your video goes out to. The next thing you want to look at is tags and category. Now, tags do not help you on YouTube nearly as much as they used to basically be the end all be all. But you still want to make sure that you're giving YouTube as much information about your video as possible. So just today I went through and I added some tags to certain videos. And they were tags like mid-30s or single or future homeowner or budgeter, because I want those types of people on my channel overall. And for whatever reason, YouTube still does not quite get that. So how much those tags will help, I don't know, but that's a place I'm going to start to kind of see if that helps solve the problem. The categories on YouTube, I think, could be a little bit better. I feel like there should be, if not, I kind of feel like there should be its own section for personal finance or just finance in general. So most of my videos will be under people and blogs because I'm usually just talking about myself. Every now and then there might be something on this channel that is more for entertainment or education, but people and blogs is usually the category that most of my videos are going to be under. So I just kind of want to go through and make sure that they're in the correct category. The next thing I want to look at for my audit is the style of videos. So my videos are basically 2 formats. There's talking head videos like this, and then there's overhead videos where I'm writing, budget, setting goals, that kind of thing. I don't think that I make bad videos, but there's not much style to them. They're not very personalized outside of some things like this set I set up for this channel. So in other words, while I can always look for ways to improve every single video and every single piece of content I put out, the reality is that as of this moment, the edits are a bit boring. I don't want to go overboard with edits. I personally find that a bit annoying in videos, and just about everyone recommends it. So I'm kind of trying to find that sweet spot where it's like I'm putting out content that I'm proud of, but I'm also still trying to give other people what they might want from that video, which is not exactly the same thing as what I would want. So this is an area I'm struggling in a little bit. I do think I need to find ways to make the videos a little bit more interesting. Now, if you just hate the videos I put out and this just is not the kind of content for you at all, there's obviously no amount of editing or script writing or content planning that's going to fix it. But there are plenty of successful channels that talk about paying off your debt and setting yourself up for success to buy a house and breaking down your budget every single month and budgeting by paycheck. So I do believe that there are plenty of people that would enjoy my videos if I just present them in the right way. So I have a few ideas of things I could do to improve the editing and make the videos just a little bit more interesting. I will be playing around with those, and hopefully in the next month or so, I will kind of arrive at a style that's a little bit more personalized to the type of video I want to put out. And lastly, I'm looking at the overall content of the videos themselves. Now, this is an area where I am struggling a little bit as well. And the reason for that is that This channel is basically about my personal finance. Now, I chose the name I Want to Save Money because that's true. I want to save money and I wanted a YouTube channel that was very clear. However, for most of my content, saving money is not really the focal point of that video. So that is something that is very much on my mind in terms of the content of each of my videos. I'm not unhappy with what I'm putting out. In fact, I'm the type of person now where if I watch a video back and I feel like it isn't good enough, I won't upload it and I will go back and either refilm that video or I'll move on to the next video. If that means I miss a day I wanted to upload, then that's just what it means. I don't want to put out content that I'm not at least somewhat proud of. I don't think every video needs to be perfect. If you focus on nothing but being perfect, then you may never get anywhere. But I do want to be proud of most of the content that I put out. That being said, I do want to build a community around this channel and I do want to monetize this channel. I can't do those things if I'm not willing to prioritize what the audience is looking for. That's kind of difficult to balance if your whole channel is about your own personal finance journey, your personal debt payoff journey, your personal journey to buying a home, all of that stuff. So in that area, it's very difficult for me to be objective. It's very hard to be objective when you are auditing your own channel. It's very hard to be objective when you're looking at your own content. Like, you came up with the idea, you sat down and filmed it, you got through the editing process. If you then think it's good enough to upload, you're obviously somewhat proud of it. So it's kind of hard to take a step back and go, okay, well, what's actually wrong with this content? What could have been better about it? But that really is the mindset that you need to be in if you genuinely want to improve your content and improve your reach. For right now, the biggest problem I have is a reach problem. YouTube seems to be misunderstanding my content. I feel like my videos are kind of clear in terms of who they're supposed to be in front of, so I'm not quite sure what's going on here. So that's basically the first problem that I need to solve. But once I do solve that problem, I need to get serious about analyzing my content, analyzing how I'm editing my videos. I mentioned wanting to make some changes to my thumbnails. I'm definitely going to start applying that. I'm going to start changing up how I put my titles together. Clearly, I will be a master YouTuber in no time. The main thing is making plans without looking at your analytics and without trying to figure out what you're doing wrong and what you need to change and what could improve your channel is kind of useless. So now that I've taken the time to sit down and do a channel audit and figure out what needs to be changed, what can be improved on, I feel like I'm in a much better place to move forward with better content. And I don't really plan on making another video for this series for another couple of weeks, so who knows what will change in that time.